Hey guys, yeah, I need to exhale because this video I'm going to make right now is probably gonna be somewhat one of my most transparent videos. Basically, this video was inspired by an episode of Yana Found Something Fixed My Life and a recent picture floating around Twitter. This video is about molestation. Okay. When I was younger, I had my innocence taken from me in more than one instance and from more than one individual. The first time it happened, I was about 5 years old. I'm not going to go into detail because at this point details aren't important, but yeah, I'm not going to go into details. But yeah, from the time I was 5 years old, I had my innocence taken from me. It happened and I didn't say anything, but it wasn't one of those situations where I was threatened or I was told that I'm going to kill your mom or whatever. It was just one of those situations where I felt like I brought it upon myself and I made it happen, so if I tell, I'm going to be blamed for it. So I didn't say anything the first couple of instances. Fast forward down the line, at about 9 or 10, it happened again. I guess around that time, like, being that I was in school and, you know, they had all these different programs and all these different, you know, teachers and counselors talking to students, then I felt like I had a voice. So when it happened then, as soon as it happened, I told my mom. And my mom did exactly what a parent was supposed to do. She called the police, pressed charges. You know, we went through the whole process up until it was time for me to go to court, and I just couldn't do it. And when I told my mom I couldn't do it, she didn't pressure me to do it. We just left it alone. But come to find out that even if we would have went with it, the person who did it to me fled the country, so he wasn't really going to be able to be prosecuted anyway. And another thing about it, the person who did it to me, I happened to be in the same class with his oldest daughter. And after it happened, towards the end of the school year, she approached me and she asked me, did her dad do something to me? And when she asked me that, because I always felt like, you know, that's not something you want somebody to know, because even though now you know, like, you're not the person, you're not at fault, but then when it happens, you feel like you're all at fault. So the more people that know, the more people are looking at you that it's your fault, it's your fault, it's your fault. But when she came to me, I was like, why are you asking me that? And she told me, oh, because I heard my mom and my grandma talking, no, my mom and my aunt talking about it. And I was just looking at her because I didn't know how to respond, because this man is her father. So I'm looking like, and she was like, no, it's okay, you can tell me the truth. She was like, because he did certain things to me and my sister. So I just was, I was honest with her and I told her. And she was like, she was just telling me everything that went on in their household regarding their mom and what led to him fleeing the country and stuff like that. But yeah, that was that situation. Being molested takes a lot away from an individual. Having your innocence taken from you and having to grow up from that young takes a toll. And when something like that happens to you, I believe when something like that happens to you, one or two things happen. You go into a shell and you're always angry. You don't want to be touched. You don't want to be bothered. And you go into being an introvert. I think that's what it is. Where you just so, like, you become a hermit and you just detach. Or you detach emotionally and you feel like since it was taken from you, you want to be able to control it, and you become promiscuous or sexually free or uninhibited, because at this point this is the only thing you have this is the only way you can maintain control over this now, is by doing it on your terms, how you want to do it and when you want to do it. And you convince yourself that I'm doing this because I want to do it, because now this is the only control I have over it. If I'm doing it the way I want to do it and how I want to do it and whoever I want to do it with, I have control over it this time. Like, somebody can't just come and take it from me. I'm controlling it. Where in turn you just doing things you really don't have any business doing. It makes you unable to trust anyone. Even the people around you, even the people you feel like won't hurt you. I mean, even the people around you that are close to you, you feel like, well, you should feel like they won't hurt you. You don't even trust them, because you feel like anyone I come into contact with is going to try to hurt me. This is why, because of what happened, as a parent, I consider myself to be very overly protective. My son didn't go to daycare until he was about 3, and he was talking. He didn't have any sleepovers until he was like so much older. And I remember the first time he had a sleepover, when he came home, I questioned him like crazy. And I speak to my son very frankly, very matter-of-factly, because this day and age, because of what happened to me, and it's only has gotten worse since time has went on. I speak to my children, well, my son, because he talks now, very, very openly. I speak to him, and then the sad part about it, and I let him know, like, if you feel like something wrong was done to you, or somebody's wrong, trying to do something wrong to you, you need to let mommy and daddy know. Don't be scared. Whatever they say to you, they can't do anything to you, because mommy and daddy are going to protect you. Mommy and daddy, like, don't be afraid that they're going to hurt you, or if you tell on them, they're going to do anything, because mommy and daddy are going to take care of it. And I let him know, like, the wrong stuff that adults are not supposed to do to children. But this day and age is so bad that adults are hurting children, and older children are preying on younger children. And now my son gets on the bus to go to school, like I said in like a review video. I was reviewing a stroller cover. My son gets on the bus, and I've heard so many different stories about older children in school, on the bus, molesting younger children. And my son is only 6, so I've even spoken to him about that. The funny thing is, when I brought it up, he gave me like the weirdest look. He was like, "Mom, like, are you crazy?" And I was like, "No, like, this, I had to be open with my son, because I don't want my son to be placed in a situation where, because he doesn't know, he does something." So I speak to my daughter. She's only 4 months. I'm very, like, protected. She's really attached to me anyway, but I tend not to let her be with anybody besides me for too long. And I always try to pay attention to the way my daughter reacts to certain people, because, you know, like they say, babies and small children know. So I always pay attention to the way my daughter looks at certain people, smiles. You know, I just pay attention to her reaction. So, like, even though she can't talk, I'm paying attention to her. But and the fact that I brought up my son in this instance, because it's not only happening to little girls, it happens to little boys as well. Because, you know, back then it was just always, you know, watch your daughters, be careful who you have your daughters around. Nowadays, we have to be careful with your boys too, because you have pedophiles that prey on them as well. And it always, and then people think that little boys can't be molested by grown women, and it always brings me back to the movie Antoine Fisher. I don't know if you guys have seen that movie, but it always brings me back to that, because that, he, as a child, he was molested by a grown woman. So, like, it happens. And I just feel like, as parents, any parents that are watching this video, any caregivers, please pay attention to your children. We, especially in this day and age, this is like the multitasking generation where we try to do so much that a lot of the stuff, other stuff in our life, because we feel like certain things are important, a lot of the other stuff in our life take the back seat. And I'm asking, as parents, do not allow your children to take the back seat. Please pay attention to your children. Please talk to your children. Please educate your children. Please be careful who you have your children around, because the person that you may not think you will do something to your child, they will. And it's just, even if you know, speaking from a Christian point of view as well, like, you can't be around your children 24/7. And you can pray and you can ask God to cover your children, but you need also to ask God for, what's the word I'm looking for? It's the word I'm looking for. It'll come to me. Discernment. Ask God for a spirit of discernment. Because when your instincts are speaking to you, like I said in another video I did with my husband, people call it instinct, people call it their gut feeling, I call it God. When my first mind tells me something, automatically most of the time I go on my first mind, especially when it comes to my children. When it comes to my children, I'm going on my first mind all the way. And I just say, as parents, pay attention, educate your children. Let your children know they can come and talk to you. Believe your children. Just be there for your children. And that's all I really want to say. So until next video, I'm out.